Are you ready? Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Phenomenal.
It's so hard to have a gay time on your own. It could be that great chalk and biscuit coating.
So hard to have a gay time on your own.
It could be that smooth toffee ice cream in the center. Or that whole delicious golden gay time taste.
So hard to have a gay time on your own.
You can get it riding. You can get it sliding. You can feel it coming on about 4. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter.
What happened, Gandalf? Why didn't you meet us?
Oh, I am sorry, Frodo. I was delayed.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? How you going? We're back hanging out with the Chubbs. They call themselves the Chubbs. That's not their real name. I know that. I've seen their names on the comics. We can get to the bottom of it. We're here to talk Merry Boys, hang out, maybe a little bit of what's going on in the UK. It's madness. I don't know if you've seen it lately, but it's craziness. And this couldn't be more English, a book, I don't think. We'll chat about that as well. Thank you very much for being here on this mad day. I see lots of you in the chat already. It's great to have you. I'm going to shout you out before I bring them on. Mr. Mo Biggs sneaking in first. Great to see you. Cam is here. Haven't seen Cam in a while. Neff back 3 times in a row. Love to see it. Love to see it when you return. Hello there. Hello. Dojo Kun is in the house. We have, who do we have? We've got Death Metal Hero. Shout out to Death Metal, who just had Carl on talking the book. We got Mad Ruth here. We have, who do we got? Casey Anthony. I see Draw Zombie. Look at, they're bringing all these cool people out. I see that Merry Boys stars one of the cars from the Italian Job. Is that what it is? Is it a Fiat? Or it is a weird little English thing? It could be like a Triumph. I don't know. We'll have to. Maybe that does look like a Fiat, actually. I'm just looking at it here. I'll say hello to E Wheezy, who missed all the motorboating action. We had AI motorboating potential going on the other day. You weren't there in the chat. We missed you. Mo says, though, the Tatangalangs did remain motionless. I finished the Tatangalang piece, E Wheezy. I hope it meets your approval. Side boob, best boob, in my opinion. What's up, Citizen Ronan? I'll say hello to, did I say Cranberry Langes? I'll say Coriolanus, and I think that could be it. I heard Netflix attempting to license the Merry Boys. That's a good quote to bring these guys on to. Rebrand them as the Curry Boys. Yes, no. Netflix tries to dump truck of money up to your house. We like what you're doing with the Merry Boys, but we're thinking modern audience, the Curry Boys instead.
Yeah, we like it, but change everything.
Yeah. You do actually have a little bit of that in I think the third one, where they go to the comic convention.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like it was peak. I don't know when you put that book out, must have been like 2023, 24
That's
maybe.
right, yeah.
Just peak that stuff. The boys go to a comic convention. They're trying to sell their what is it, Captain England or something?
Captain England.
Yeah, and it's just what you would imagine. No, we want diverse characters. How England at the moment. Anyway, great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on. You guys have just launched the latest one. I didn't realize it was actually 4 books. I'm an idiot. I thought this was your third one. I am absolutely mistaken. You have been very busy. That first one you put out, I meant to get it and I didn't. And then the second one, I'll get it now and I didn't. And then I don't know, somehow I must have missed the what was that third one called? The beef.
Yeah, Beefheads is the third one, which is,
Yeah.
as you know, it's a collection of self-contained short stories.
Yeah, there's 3 of them in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this one is the start of like the first really long form epic sort of Merry Boys story.
Yes.
So
This one's going to be a 5-parter. I was just reading through it. I read a little bit of you've got the preview pages up here. I love this opening, by the way, where he's fire and brimstone, and then you find out he's being Santa. That's not enough to get him kicked out, though. Only when he starts pissing his pants does it actually. That ends his shift.
Yeah,
Really
they don't get paid
funny.
for it. Yeah, like people like you and me, have to earn it back through all the, having a mission on the side, doing things after hours. So
Yes. So I've put the link in the chat. I've put the link in the description. So if you like the sound of anything we're talking about, and we can have a look through. You've also got the first book up on Global, so we can actually flip through a little bit of that as well a bit later on. To give people a bit more of a visual sense of what we're doing.
To answer the story about the car, this is the
look.
3D model I used. Is it
Italian?
No, it's British.
Oh no, he's the Italian Job. Right, I'm an idiot. That's the movie. I'm an idiot. I can't read. That just don't.
That's right. I don't know.
Don't listen to me.
I've always just thought this was really iconic, and I've always wanted to.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Is that the Mini? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother had one of them, I think, way back in the day.
They were cheap. They were so cheap. Like when I was like a student, people couldn't get rid of them. Now if you find an original one, even if it's battered up, it costs an absolute fortune. I really.
Yeah, they're like 50-year-old cars now. More than that, probably.
Yeah.
If they're still running, they're probably very well looked after. We did just get a Zaid raid. Welcome to all the Zaiders. And Phil, backer 64 earlier today. I too plan on backing. I'm all in. I just read all of them this morning. So I read the whole bunch. I'm full on Merry Boys in the head at the moment. So we can chat a little bit about the story and how you came about. I'm really interested. This is not what I come across very often in indie comics. Like most indie comics are trying to kind of, do a sort of version of what, I don't know, Marvel and DC are doing. You went the exact opposite direction. You guys are like, this book couldn't be more English. Do you agree? It's like baked into it.
I am a foreigner. I mean, as you've probably run into enough South Africans in Australia to know, like, he's an Afrikaner. Whereas, but I've always loved English culture, and I feel like as an outsider, I've always,
Yeah, well, being from Australia, I'm an outsider as well, but we grow up with everything British, all the British comedies, all that sort of culture and everything. So like we're ensconced in it as well. And straight away I kind of got this humor, and also just the style as well. Actually, let me bring that up. That's actually probably a good idea, because like my point about it's not your average, superhero comic book. I mean, it's drawn in this fantastic kind of like, this was the first one, by the way, that your style has probably evolved a little bit since then, because this was back in like 2020 or something, and this looks like it was done with watercolors or something.
I did it with ink wash. I love Will Eisner's stuff. He does wonders with ink wash, and I was very sort of, and Jack Davis in his Mad magazine era, he did a lot.
Mad, definitely. I can see the influence
and
there.
I really wanted to do something like that, but it is. But the thing is, when you print it, it is quite muddy. You see, so I've actually gone back to just line work.
I think I would know how to fix that. Like I'd actually do pre-press, and there are definitely things you would have to do to make sure you don't lose all this really nice subtlety in the thing. But line art is still good too. But I watch, I don't know if you've ever seen it, the guy Elasmat, he does these underground comic shows where he just highlights different underground comic artists from going back to like the 60s. And your stuff just sort of slides right into that. Like I really do love what you're doing here with, playing around with the medium, white backgrounds here when you need it, like stuff like this. Your lettering is some of the best I've seen. There was one page where the fight breaks out in the church. Is it in it? It's either in the church or in the stadium, and you use like a big lettering sound effect. But I thought that was friggin' brilliant.
That was a comic book convention story. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. I think it's the third one. And man, I finally understood why so many people rave about Mary Boys. I mean, look at this.
I mean, ultimately, the core of it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but then it stops, and then I kind of just fill in everything else with everything British, as far as I possibly can.
And this town that they're from, Basham, not a real town?
No.
As in Basham?
It's actually a British surname, but no.
I thought this. I was going to look it up. I'm like, this sounds like it could be a real place, Basham. And I'm like, no, hang on. That sounds like a. And I'm reading it, and when I get to the book where they are in the comic convention, I'm like, oh, okay, this is like really clever satire, but it's actually kind of deep. You like interweave politics, religion, modern culture, and obviously the sort of current demise that we're witnessing here, in the world at the moment. Because you guys are going through it over there. I keep an eye on it as much as I can on X, but you guys are like, I don't know what is going on in that country.
This thing, like, now we've been thrown into it because when I was doing this, I didn't think how trenchant it would be just a few years later with
it's 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because there's always been rundown, English towns. That was sort of a staple, going back. Do you ever watch like the Goodies?
Yes, get the Goodies. Yeah,
Goodies. And who are those punk guys? They kind of remind me a little bit.
Young ones.
Young ones.
You know what? That was filmed in our town. One of the places where they bought all those condoms is literally down the street from me.
There you go.
Crazy. Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like when I read this, I'm thinking all that stuff, and so it like really did connect. So there's always been that, and that goes back to the the 60s, 70s. But yeah, I imagine, I don't know, especially even in the last 5 years or so, how bizarre things have gotten over there. And not only in the UK, but in Canada and Australia as well. We are not quite where you guys are yet, but
Well, Germany too. If you insult a politician, yeah, they can get you arrested. I mean,
oh no, we've had that. We had a guy. We like, they're throwing people in prison now for saying things and offending people. Even though there was a woman who yelled some thing about the Jews or something, I don't know, and she didn't go to jail. I don't know what's up with that, but I think because she was with Antifa, I don't know. It is
the two-tier policing thing that if you're gonna be a draconian, be consistent to throw everybody in jail.
Yeah, and you do show that in the book as well. Like these are like the slacker coppers who are obviously just trying to do the minimal amount of work and knock heads, and but you're pretty even-handed. You also give it to the chavs and the what do you call them, like the footy, we would call them drongos. I don't know if
drongos, and you got another word, but yes, you've got the bogans. Isn't bogans also?
Yes, well, a bogan has sort of become affectionate now. Like when I was growing up, you didn't want to be a bogan because it was sort of looked down on. But now it's sort of an affection. I know, at least among my circles, it's kind of an affectionate term. So it's maybe it's risen above a little bit, but like it's I guess its meaning is kind of working class. But it does have a little bit of that creep of class culture, because if you become rich, then people just call you a cashed up bogan. So it's not like you can't escape it. If you're a bogan, you're a bogan.
Yeah.
Kramer says Orwellian, not good. Yeah, well, Orwell saw it.
And
Phil
says he was British too, and it was like it was written. Yeah, like why don't you? Yeah, we know it's the problem is the Labour government's always kind of worshipped the Soviet Union. And you see that in the Hansard and the discussions in Parliament where they knew about the death camps, they knew about the gulags, but they saw, but it's for the greater good. It's basically to build a better future. It's literally there. Nothing has really changed. It's always been there in the back. They've always kind of like, we're just waiting for an opportunity where we can do it ourselves, and they're kind of inching towards that now, and that's the scary thing.
I don't know if you ever listened to The Fourth Age. Is another comic book channel, and he gets into that big time. He actually relates it all back to comic books and culture, though. But he says this isn't related just to comics. It's a leftist thing. That's how they think. The utopia is in the future. It's inevitable. And whatever you do to push society towards it is justified.
Yeah, it means justifies the end.
Yeah, so yeah, and so that's why you see all this stuff infecting into comics, because even if it's nonsensical, and even if they're like, we've got to fight discrimination by discriminating. That doesn't matter, because in their mind, the end goal is discrimination as they see it goes away.
Yeah, there's no. I don't see. This is the thing, is that I don't see the empathy. You know what I mean? Could be because everything is still very much ideology before anything else. I mean, for example, if you're on the left wing, then you're required to have a certain handbasket of causes that you support, and you can't traverse the line even if there is clear discrimination, oppression. For the Iranian thing, for example, with this, the government is killing tens of thousands of people. It is a classic example of tyranny going on. You will not find one protest on the left against the Iranian government. You'll find loads against Israel for the same, for the Palestinian thing. I think, but surely if you're against oppression in general, then you would traverse that sort of line. But they don't, because they want to keep the USA and the West in general, because that's the real enemy. You understand? So it's ideological baskets, and that's the reality of it.
And it's maddening, especially now, because we have the internet. We can see it with our own eyes. Like, especially now, X is kind of like a lot freer than it used to be. You can see it. It's there. And you can see when this has been done before. And you'll have people out there saying, I'm from these countries where this happened, where the Islamists partnered up with the leftists, took over, killed all the leftists, and now it's a caliphate. And it's like that. You can go and talk to people who lived through that. But
Arab Spring, yeah.
Yeah, but then you see, and like there's creepings of that in the West. Now it's already begun, like all over Europe. Not so much here yet, but they're starting to happen. Like, and anytime any politician says anything against it, everyone descends and you can say anything else and the left approve of, and nothing happens. But it's pretty maddening. I saw you were retweeting some of the Restore Britain stuff, which is like that came out of the blue. I've always followed Rupert Lowe, but I didn't really know who he was. I just thought he was like a funny old man who said funny things on X. Like, I didn't even know.
Very direct, funny things.
I just like there's we've got one here in Australia too. He wears like a Kubra hat. He couldn't be. He looks the Aussie part. I don't even think he is like actually Aussie. I think he was in like a Ukraine, I don't know, some kind of immigrant from ages ago. But he's exactly the same as Rupert Lowe. But like, I think in your country, it's gotten to the point now where you've got actual whole areas that are just not British anymore. And
unfortunately, I mean, the thing is, everybody is tolerant, to a point. But the thing is, if if people start taking the piss to the point where the police aren't paying attention to, I can't say the R word on the grape gangs. There comes a breaking point. This is the unfortunate truth, that you can't tolerate rampant criminality and basically destruction of everything that you hold dear. You can't do that. That's just not on. And now we're seeing the pushback, but it might be too late already. And this is what worries me.
Yeah. It does definitely seem like a now or never situation.
Yeah.
100%. I get that sense all over the world, really. But it is heartening to see that there are people starting to just put down the silliness of the last 20 years, all the nonsensical woke stuff, the white guilt, the being like the way that the institutions have made Europeans ashamed of themselves is just, I mean,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's actually like a incredible example of, like pure propaganda and demoralizing a whole society.
Yeah, but at some point people start just rejecting all that, and I think we're seeing a lot of that now. And all the names that can call you, it's irrelevant. I mean, so it's spun out. I think 2015, 2016 was the peak of all that, and it's kind of run its course now. And because luckily, the UK is very much monkey see, monkey do when it comes to the USA. I think a lot of it is due to the Trump administration coming up and saying, okay, well, this is how it's going to work. And then people are going like, okay, well, if they can do it, then we can do it too. We can start reinforcing our, basically having a border control again, and trying to rebuild things that have been completely decimated during the previous years. I mean, it is possible. I think it is possible. I'm just like, have we waited too long? That's all.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if it is a sense of like waiting too long, because things have come back after hundreds and hundreds of years in the past. Neff says too late for Europe. I mean, God, I hope not. But no one really knows the future, and people predict and say things about birth rates and traditions going away and things dying off and everything, but there's always a random human element to things that people just never could predict. Like no one could have predicted Trump would just upend the timeline that was happening.
Yeah,
And he
that
did in
was
such
amazing.
a monumental
Yeah.
way.
I knew it the second they tried to kill him. I knew that was
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
47. I just
When
knew
he
it.
stood up, you know, and put his
Yeah, I
hand
was
up
like,
in the
you
blood, I was like,
can't-
oh, it's
Decisive
over.
moment.
You can't not vote for that. Courage
Yeah.
and fire.
Even freaking Zuckerberg was like, holy shit, that was bad. I started working out. He was like, all right.
Yeah, I know. He dropped the robot thing completely. Yeah,
He started looking like a person for the first time.
yeah. Data from Star Trek suddenly became a real person. It was quite.
You know, Elon Musk as well started like playing a big role, and to me, like when he came out and people were saying, you know, because he bought X and everything, like, you think you can blackmail me for money? Like his, you know, I don't know what I think he's worth like 700 billion now or some ridiculous thing. He's like, go fuck yourself. That's what I like about Rupert Lowe. He's like, I don't care. This is what we're doing. I don't care.
Yeah,
like that
Elon
one.
Musk used to be a Democrat, and so did Trump. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, well, you've seen that. I mean, I used to be. I came out of university like this close to being, you know, to being like a full-on Marxist almost. Well, maybe that's where it would have led. Who knows? Because you just get brainwashed by these places. I went to graphic design school.
Oh
That's how I know Mary Boys is so cool, because I'm looking at the design of it and I'm like, this is all really tight and everything. I really like all of it. I've got that eye. But what they did to me while I was there was they pumped me so full of propaganda, anti-West, anti-white, anti-Christian, you know, this like all the other religions are sort of like mystical and spiritual, but Christianity is an oppressor. And I did want to chat about Christianity because it's obviously a huge, it's in everything in this book. And I wanted to ask you about that in a second, but just want to finish my story here. Yeah, like I came out, I was close, but then I sort of, you know, I kind of got out of that environment, thankfully, and, you know, got into the workforce and had to start paying bills and it's not,
moves
you know,
everybody to the right.
yeah, and then eventually you become a father, and then you know, so now I'm physically, you know, moving more to the right. But in that time, over the last 10 years, the whole world lurched so far to the left. Like there's a great little meme, you know, where the guy's standing still and he was sort of in the center, and now he's center right, and then you know, eventually the person who he was closest to calls him a bigot, and then there's one underneath that where he's like pointing a gun at him. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of where it is at the moment. Like they're starting to get violent now. So it's actually kind of scary. But Christianity, you don't see it in many comic books these days.
You do see it.
Only in the indies.
But you get the ones who are almost like not. You remember chick tracts, right?
Yes.
Remember those?
Who was that guy?
It wasn't Jack Chick himself, but they did these series of like Christian crusaders who, it's heavy-handed stuff, like where it was like it's very regimented stuff that isn't really fun, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be a Christian and you can still have a cracking sense of humor. You can still, you know, be an absolutely regular guy. You don't get elevated to a, you know, you don't become a different person to do what you are. You're still a flawed human being, if you know what I mean. It's hard to explain.
Well, the way I would look at it is when I was younger, we used to do like church group and stuff. Christian music was a joke.
Yeah, Christian music.
It was like the cringiest thing ever. And you just is like kind of like, good on them, I suppose. Like, I guess they can play it at church and feel good that they're doing something. Christian music today is massive, and it's actually really good. Mel started putting on the Christian radio with the kids in the car. It's the only radio station where there's no risk of what you're going to get some like degenerate trash as pop music, which is they play it now everywhere. It's crazy. And they realize, there's on top of it just plays like normal clean songs. There's so many artists out there who were actually massive and crushing it and making great music. And it's Christian music. It's like they just needed to actually hone the craft and actually make music, put the music kind of first, and then have it.
Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash is a Christian artist, and I've never met anybody who doesn't like Johnny Cash. For example, that's a good. That's the foundations of it. It permeates everything, but it's not in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So yeah, it is perfectly doable. It's just how you approach it, and it is in comic books. But every time I've seen it, it's always been like a heavy-handed sort of, almost like a overdone sort of garish sort of thing, where the guys are dressed up in armor with crosses on them and stuff. It feels kind of artificial. You know what I mean? I can't really explain.
When I didn't know going in, because I don't like to read too much about books before I jump into them, so I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense now. Mary boys, they see the image of Mary, and that's when they know it's time to bash on. So like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I went to it purely because I thought the art looked great. It looks fun. I like the way it's drawn and everything, and this looks like something different and creative. And then once I get to it, I see it's got a underpinning here. Another one was Nosfero by Shantan Jetty. I didn't know it was going to be a very sort of Christian message before I read it. And I was like, Shanta, I didn't realize. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know how you didn't pick up on that. He said I thought I was being really blatant and obvious, but he wasn't at all. I thought he's just like, that's his kind of values and morality, and he kind of wove that into the story as well. So yeah, I do agree. Yeah, it's better like that, but also I can tell you're trying to be a bit irreverent or a little bit tongue-in-cheek as well. It is. I consider it fully like it's like a satire. That's how I see it. It's like you satirize kind of really sort of the worst elements of what goes on in in certain English places and everything. But then you got the boys there to sort of, I don't know, fight against it in their own way. I don't know if that's how you see it, but that's how I kind of read it.
Actions, obviously, it is far-fetched. They are urban terrorists.
Yeah. I don't think you're supposed to take it too seriously. Like, I think you started that with the way. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm gonna try and actually, you've got it on the on the homepage there. It's actually probably a good thing to bring up here. Where is it? Is it there? Yeah, you've got a little introduction.
Yeah, I did like this one-page sort of introduction which explains.
Yeah, so the priest gets shot in the head, and that he goes into a little coma, and he remembers a previous life when he was a Knights Templar in the Crusades.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he finds, and this is going to sound out there if you haven't read the book, but once you read the book and you get the tone of it, I was like, whoa, okay, this is full on. You're going to kind of do this in the Indies, I think. He finds these babies that have been, I guess, abandoned in this big thing at an abortion clinic or something. And they have this strange affliction where everyone calls them mongs, which I appreciate the language that you use in this book. It's very Australia 1980s when I was growing up. They don't talk like this anymore. But that's how I remember we used to talk back in the day. Actually, that scene at the football match where they find out, oh no, the dog's a poof. We actually had an incident in Australia where a guy called someone a poof, and it was like this massive Australia-wide media blitz, and like we're gonna hunt down this criminal who called someone a poof. and it's like it's this egregious example of hate speech. Meanwhile, they said the word poof 100 times.
Everybody's going to use it. It's like
mean,
size and effects.
and it couldn't be more. I know, like it's obviously like something that we took from the Brits, but Australians use the word poof all the time. That's, I don't know, you guys, but we have a bit of a reputation for being swear.
We also had like
swear a lot.
Poof, basically it was the same. But
Like
yeah, it's tongue in cheek. I mean, you know, if anybody goes out and commits hate crimes on the back of my comics, I'd be very surprised. You know.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like in demoralizing like in trying to erase the culture, they really suck out all the humor out of the culture, all of the sort of, and Australians, I know Australians are a bit like the British in that sense. I think to a much greater degree, where we are way more laid back, and just, you know, you're supposed to give a joke, take a joke, and that's really what they're trying to steal from us.
Yeah, I mean, the impetus of doing something like this to me was also the fact that I wasn't allowed to do something like this. You know, so
oh my God, yes,
I will do something like this now. I wasn't going to do it, but you've asked for it, so here we are. You know,
thank you for reminding me, because I was reading this and I was thinking of people who are going to say, you can't say that. You can't write that. Like they're calling these kids retards and mongs, and they're getting drunk and they're bashing people, and the dogs are poof, and like all this sort of stuff. And I was just thinking, there's going to be people saying you can't do that. Like but you can do that. You have done it. You just do it.
Yeah,
you just do it.
It's not the police.
And you know, sure, they're probably not going to make, Netflix probably isn't going to come around and say we want to make a faithful adaptation of Mary Boys. But if you're not in for it for that, if you're in for it for, like you said, people say you can't make this, you say, well, F you, I can, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's almost like there are layers to it, because in a way it is you know, anarchic sort of comic, but on the other hand, there are themes that run through that are quite universal, like social alienation, which is something I lean into in this series. Which I think a lot of people can relate to, you know, and it's a very sort of, I mean, it's also very much influenced by early 80s punk, UK 82 and Oi music, you know, which is laden with that stuff, you know. So yeah, I think different people will take different things from it, ultimately.
So they're getting around, they get drunk. When I was trying to, like, they get drunk. When they drink, that's when they get their powers.
Yeah.
And they're bashing nonsense. They're bashing all kinds of people. They bash people for not adhering to the Sabbath. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, they're kind of, that's why they're not superheroes, really, because I mean, it's about sin. It's not about, you know, necessarily crimes. So you'll get an overlap to a degree. But yeah, people get bashed for just not observing things that they believe in, which is also a satire on religion itself in a way. You know, even though I'm in their camp, I'm still, you know, it's a certain self-awareness that I like to express in the comic books.
Dr. Mask asks, is there any influence from Evan Dawkins' Milk and Cheese?
Oh, I like Milk and Cheese, yeah. Even though Evan Dawkins probably hates, if he ever saw my stuff, he probably hates it. But now, but the 90s, Evan Dawkins was a cool dude. You know, I liked Milk and Cheese. I liked, I like a lot of his stuff. I like his dog comic. So yeah, no, there's like this energy to milk and cheese that I always thought was pretty cool.
So in this one though, you said it's part of a 5-part arc. So this is like this is the first time you're doing a big kind of more ongoing story.
That's right. It's what I've done is I've written the whole thing. I've thumbnailed it and lettered it, and now I'm just going through. Every increment is about 40 pages that I'm just going to draw every time and crowdfund. So yeah, pretty much. So I'm getting. Sorry.
Go on. You were going to say something?
I was going to say this has given me room to breathe, to explore the themes that I wanted to. So it starts off with like a sort of like the irreverence and high energy sort of violence from the previous comics, but it also then later on it leans into the drama, into the character arcs, the more touchy feely parts of Mary Boys.
I think this actually Mary Boys warrants a proper. I might do a proper review on it, because just scrolling through it now, like there's so many things I haven't touched on. You make commentary on these like mega stores taking over small towns and villages and just utterly gutting local business. Cops. Like there's actually so much that you actually touch on here in this. So I wouldn't be able to think of off the top of my head. I have to do like a video or something on it. But it's like I'm wondering what your background is, because the art is fantastic. I think the storytelling, the pacing, it really flows. The thing that a lot of indie guys, I've read a lot of indie books, a lot of people fall into the trap of not giving characters their own voice, and like not even just their own unique voice, but a voice that you actually are interested in reading. Like I really like the father, even when he's a drunk belligerent, like yelling at the kids, and and the kids are all the kids are a little bit, like you said, like Ninja Turtles. It's kind of hard to tell them apart at times, like they were
like one person basically, because it's different aspects of me basically. I treat them like one person in different moods, in different mindsets, all at the same time. That's kind of like the key to this.
Yeah, because I noticed that when the comic convention, so they have different interests. So it's like, oh, they are different, but they're just sort of like that. That's a good way of putting it. I like that. They're just different sort of moods of the same person. Did you make comics before this? I mean, this is fantastic cartooning.
Oh, cheers, man. Well, yeah, I did. Have you ever heard of Slave Labor Graphics? I think that's who published Evan Dorkin.
No,
I did a graphic novel that was published by them. But apart from that, no, it's just been small zine sort of comics over the years.
Used to be a children's illustrator.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes, I was a children's book illustrator for a while.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You have to make a living somehow,
But that was different. Yeah, that was just short. Like when I was studying, I did like 2 years of that, and it was great. I really enjoyed it until the market kind of fell apart for that sort of thing. For me, anyway. But yeah, just
Per Berg, Narwhal, he was showing off a book yesterday called Dork, as in D''orc, as in French for orc.
Yeah.
And it's in a cartoony style.
That's Evan Dorkin's stuff. That's Evan Dorkin's.
That's him, is it?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, I wasn't familiar with the guy, but apparently. Everyone was telling him, don't do it in a cartoony style because it won't sell. And it's gone gangbusters. It's like selling apparently in, tens and tens of thousands of copies. And it looks amazing. And the cartooning, is just really incredible. I wish books like this were more visible and more seen and more appreciated, because I can tell you, as someone who reads a lot of books, sees a lot what's going on, especially in the indies, it's stuff like this that really stands out. I want to read stuff that looks like this. I want to read stuff that reads like this. I think I'm so glad you continued it, because you've been doing this for probably longer than I've been doing my own book. So it's a big commitment.
It
as
is,
you well know,
absolutely.
to keep this stuff going.
Yeah. Tell him how much you miss having a husband.
Well, at some point, our son thought that Carl lived somewhere else, and he was just coming here to sleep.
It's
That's
like
the day job's fault.
No, it really is. Like, actually, I think people say that, like, you can only have so much of each thing in life, and if you want success in this one thing, other things kind of do have to give way a little, hopefully not too much. But yeah, you can't just make stuff like this and have a day job and a wife and a family and all these other things you want to do, and have it not encroach on
But it's like I see myself in the same position as somebody who's got a rock band, if you know what I mean. It's
minus the touring.
Minus the tour, thankfully, minus the touring, and obviously the groupies who would line up.
Yeah, of course they would.
Yeah,
yes,
of course they would.
Yeah.
There was a time when independent comic creators had groupies. It was a real thing. Billy Tucci could probably speak on that.
Yeah, well, he had the hairstyle and all. He was a rock star too, wasn't he?
Even Don Chen probably remembers those days a little bit. Like, he was there as well. It's pretty crazy to think about. I think we came a little late for the groupies, but we can still enjoy the comics. We could still enjoy each other's company as much as we can. But yeah, no, really great stuff. I'm gonna get the if someone wants to get everything, so like read everything, how do they do that?
Yeah, there's a digital catch up. If they want just the digital stuff, there is an add-on for that. And I've still but copies from, because what I tend to do is overprint every time we do a campaign, which she hates because their boxes all over the house. But
I've got them all here. I hid them underneath like a little blanket thing, so you don't see them.
Well, we need a big blanket.
Yeah, maybe I'd have as many as because Mary Boy's books are like massive, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like the Bande Dessinée. So it's A4. I don't know if you got A4 the same.
Yeah, we do the same as that. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
A4.
yeah. So it's all.
I printed these. So I did hardcovers. These things cost a friggin' mint. So that's A4 size. So you can see it compared to. We had Neff in the chat. I don't know if he's still in here. He is. Here's one, Mavericks. I have it on a flat shelf because it won't even fit. It's like, I don't know what size it is. It's like friggin'
Luke showed me. It's not only big, but it's also thick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a banner. I don't know what it is, but it is another amazing book. No groupies, Asmo. Damn, Valley Law can't even get a shout. Fine, one groupie. I'm happy with one. That's good. That's better than what a lot of other people have. You know. Marcus says no groupies for him when he published in the 90s. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, I guess you weren't teen sensation Billy Tucci.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we missed it all. We missed the peak of Western civilization. That's the problem.
Well, in my defense, I was 11, 12, so I couldn't really be there for the groupies. I wouldn't have known what to do with them if I was, and I had to go to school. So now for me, it was I got into comics right. I got into the Marvel and DC stuff right before the first big bankruptcy, I think. It was back when speculation was getting out of control.
Oh, this was the Superman thing when they just Superman in the bubble.
I bought that. I actually like that. It's actually the only Superman book I ever bought. I only really read Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, bit of Punisher and stuff like that. And I never got into the DC stuff, but I remember I was reading all that stuff and I just wanted to read the Spider-Man stories, but they started saying to continue this story, buy
10 other comics.
West Coast Avengers issue. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And then all of a sudden, I had to buy this whole stack, and I was like,
X-Men was terrible for that, wasn't it?
Just milking me. And I was like a 12-year-old trying to collect money from out, back of the couch cushions, trying to buy comics.
Yeah.
And then I learned about comic book shops because I found them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. And I'd missed out on a lot of the older kind of McFarlane stuff. And I thought, oh, this is crazy. And they were overcharging so much for that stuff, even though it wasn't rare at all, because they're like, oh, it's a collector's item. Get this Spawn issue #1 for $30, even though they had 1,000 copies out the back, just collecting
millions
dust.
were published of that bloody thing. I had a copy of Spawn #1. Yeah, and I thought, "Ooh, this is gonna make me money one day."
There you go. See, you don't need to work. Just sell your Spawn #1 and just live off the interest. You'll be fine.
But to be fair, when that whole thing went down, I got disillusioned when they brought Superman back in the rise of the Superman. After that, that's when I kind of broke off with mainstream comics.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the last straw. I spent all the money getting all these things, and I was just like a kid. I was like, really, like, damn it! I tanked all this money into buying all this crap, and you're just going to bring it back again. I thought they're going to make it's almost. I thought it was going to be something like, all the other characters in the Superman universe would have to basically rise to become characters in their own right to make up for the lack of a Superman, almost like the Metamorphosis by Kafka, where everybody else changes around because of the absence of the breadwinner. You understand? So I thought this is going to be quite a deep sort of. It was completely disappointing, and then I just moved on to Vertigo after that. I started reading all sorts of Vertigo books, and I was like,
I was a little young for the Vertigo stuff. I got into that when I was older, and I went back and started reading a bunch of it. Obviously, I've missed a lot, but no. See, what you're describing is a story, and that's why not as many people read, the big two anymore, because they're not stories. I've done videos on this. So when I started Spider-Man, even though there were 3 books at that point, and the timeline wasn't 100%, the general vibe was. And the general vibe was, way back in Amazing Fantasy, he gets bit by a spider, and then he gradually becomes a superhero. He collects all these supervillains who want to kill him, and he goes through life, and he marries Mary Jane, and Gwen Stacy dies, he marries Mary Jane, and all this, and then now I'm here, and this is what he's doing right now. So there's a thread that goes all the way back, and it's part of a story. And then they start, oh no, now there's clones, and now now people know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And I'm like, once that's broken,
you can't go back.
But then they just do go back, and you're like, oh, well, then that's not
Marvel. I read an article about this back in the day about Marvel time ruining everything, in the sense that you kind of have to keep these characters a perpetual sort of in a sense of distress, but it doesn't make sense in the long term. Like, the thing has been turned back into a human being so many times already that does he still have the distress of being a monster? Because it's just a matter of time before he gets turned back into Ben Grimm again. You understand? To the point it loses the whole point of the character. It makes no sense anymore.
That's part of my thesis, and I don't know how correct I am, but that's part of my thesis of, and not just mine, but a lot of people's opinions of why Japanese comics end up resonating and becoming culturally relevant, is because they're stories. They, even if they're not ended yet, they feel like they will end eventually, and it's one big thing. And a lot of times it's like one guy or one team making it. I know, Mo, I'm not going to go into it. He's already tuning out. But it's an explanation, because for me, I'm not interested in version 24/7A of Batman.
Yeah, because there's always a different writer who takes over the reins and then wants to put his own mark, whatever the hell that might be, on the character.
Not interested, I would so much rather read indie books, even if they take a while to come out or whatever, and just actually, get into a story. Bancroft, I put up with a lot of this. I couldn't help it was apt. All right. He's always looking for reference material, Mo Biggs, hence the request for shirtless photos from buff dudes. That was one time. I don't draw many muscly characters. It's not my thing. So when I do, I gotta, I'm not like, I remember people like when I was hearing, this is what you're gonna have to learn if you want to be a comic book artist. You're gonna have to learn all the muscles, how they all work together. I'm like, that ain't happening. I'm not doing that. So I just kind of like, I draw people in clothes. But then if I do need to draw, say for instance, I've got one character who is kind of always naked. It's all right. He's covered in like lava and stuff. But yeah, he's a muscly guy. So yeah, I gotta Google, some reference. These guys won't let me hear the end of it.
One time, one miss.
I know, right? And now my feed is non-stop muscly men. It is Valley finds this very, very funny. Well. Yeah. What time is it where you guys are? It must be like.
Oh, it is quite late. What is the time? I put my phone on because I didn't want it beeping while we were on the street.
Throwing back beers at 3
it's almost
3 a.m.
Almost 3
3 a.m. The things you do.
Yeah, for comic books. I know. She's like, I'll stick around. What time is it this stream?
You are a blessing, Monica. That is commitment. That is.
You should be kicking me out of bed tomorrow morning. We'll both be.
Yeah, we'll be both doing something.
That's fair enough.
It needs to be done. It's it's kind of like the media junket. Got to do the rounds. Get it out there. It's so All Stitched Up is part 1 of the new 5-part arc. This one is a heavy recommend for me. Even though I just read it, I really, really dig these characters. I really dig what you're doing. And I think this is something original, which is very, very valuable right now because it's a rarity. It's something we need, especially these days. I mean, we didn't even get into the whole AI stuff. I saw you were very like no AI on your X thing.
I think my dad would be disappointed in me. You know what I mean? It's like I'd be so disappointed in me if I ever had to do that. It's just because
draw me the Mary Boys beating. Yeah, it wouldn't really. I really actually I quite like the way over the years, everyone's style kind of evolves a little bit, their approach to it. So you can see, it sort of changes over the years from where it started to where it is now. And I think that's what makes it fun and interesting. I know I certainly don't draw the same way now that I did, in the 2020 or whatever, 2019. Yeah. Merry Boys, what will they be up to next? They're the priest gets shipped off or something. He's in rehab.
Yeah, so basically, and this is what happens in the second part is so basically, in essence, this is where the bow breaks. So up to the stuff that you've read, they've been basically free to do whatever the hell they want in their town. The police have just been too remiss in following up and stopping them from wreaking havoc on the town. This is where things start going wrong, and the police team up with the bishop's office and the council, and they basically lock the whole town down and ban alcohol. You see where this is?
That's not good. And
they kind of replace it with another drug, which is even worse than alcohol, ultimately. But it's also about So anyway, so they ship Father Parrish away to have a break, as they tend to do with wayward priests. They put them in another parish. They ship him off to an insane asylum, and so the boys basically have to fend without him. They have to fend for themselves without him for the course of the story, during the course of the story.
That's where we're going. So it's going to be a 5-parter. Get on board. You can read the first one for free over on Global. You can also get digitals for the catch-ups. Really fun, really funny, irreverent, very British. If you're into British humor, I think you're really going to dig it. Someone like me, I really, really like it. You've got like a little list there, I think, of if you like. Here you go. Tank Girl, The Goon. I never know how to pronounce this.
Cerebus.
Cerebus. Oh, Turtles, Martial Law, and Judge Dredd. You really enjoy this. Or if you watched, old British TV shows like I did.
Well, the comedies and the dramas, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of satire in there, so good stuff. All right, fun to draw, says Marcus. Yeah, you guys hung out with on the studio with Don and the crew. I saw all the art everyone was showing. Great fan art too in these books. It was funny looking back. You had like Captain F Head.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in years. They were good.
He's doing his own sort of thing in model.
Yeah, that's the way it is. We were talking about that the other day. That's the way it is,
People
People kind of like disappear. No, they're just doing their own thing.
You're finally Graham Linehan, having all this trouble now.
Yes,
I know, it's funny.
He's been he's sort of like aligning with J.K. Rowling, I think, a little on the whole trans nonsense. So
but he's kind of expanded. So he started out with the whole gender critical stuff, and he's kind of moved onto other sort of topics as well. So he's kind of evolved quite a lot. It's
and Cleese as well, John Cleese.
I know, yeah.
It's like all of these boomers are sort of waking up and realizing, oh, what the hell? The world's gone crazy. That's the funny thing. Someone pointed out. And they're doing it here. They're doing it in the UK. They're doing it everywhere. The rise of the far right.
Oh, yeah.
And really, I mean, mostly 95% of what people are talking about was just normal run-of-the-mill centrist politics 20 years ago.
What I find telling is when people start talking about far right politics, I always ask the question, so what is too far left?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of
Jordan Peterson has asked that as well. It's like no one has an answer to that.
Too far left, yes. Give me an example of something that would be too far, and then they can't, and it's because everything is justified because of ideology. And I'm like, no, it is. Yeah.
And Marcus says, I'm 1 year away from being a boomer. Well, my kids call me a boomer.
Oh.
I'm 1 year off from being a millennial. So, but I think that's just how kids are these days.
Yeah. Of course.
Monty Python and Pints of Mary Boys as creators outlet. What's up, Jasper? Bancroft, we need more indie creators. This was a great show. Yeah, look, it's as they'll tell you, it is a slog being an indie creator. You're in it for the passion, you're in it for the love. It doesn't really usually, sometimes it does. There's cases here and there of people making it big, but usually we're in it for the passion and the love of the game. So I agree. I hope to see more stuff like this, stuff that's original and interesting and cool and a little bit different. So I've got the link. It's been in the chat the whole show. Links in the description. I'm gonna let you two go to bed. I see Monica's already
pinching myself.
Thank you very much for staying up and coming onto the show. It's been great to catch up. I'm sure I'll see you all out on X again and everything. Thank you, everyone in the chat. We're going to end it there. And I will see you all next week. All right, guys. Bye.
Good night. Good morning.
I've made an Australian video and I wasn't even in it.
Emotional damage.